Good evening, everyone. Freaky Friday time. Hope everybody's gearing up for the weekend, but I wanted to shoot out a few videos. The first one right here is a fantastic one brought upon a subscriber of mine, and her question was, what is the earliest, most valuable piece of currency that you could find either at the bank or in your change? Fantastic question. So there are a few givens, a few obvious choices. Before the size notes that we have today, which are called small size notes, the Federal Reserve notes, or even legal tenders, which have the red ink, the size of the notes were considerably a lot larger. Typically, you will not find these in circulation or at the bank. They have been out of circulation for many years, probably since before World War II. And it would just be unreasonable if I were to show you pictures of old gold certificates or older Federal Reserve notes that are of this larger, what they call horse blanket sized. They're huge. They're about 30-40% larger than the notes that you and I see in commerce today. So that brings us to our number one best choice. Now, not taking it again into consideration silver certificates, legal tenders, and gold certificates of the same size for the small size notes, we're going to be looking at Federal Reserve notes. Now, the Federal Reserve notes are what we spend every day. They have the green back on them, the green inking. You'll have the first and second and third printing in black and green, or a combination thereof, on the front of the note. And it's going to look like a note that you've seen before the changeover in design back in 2001. So these are going to be the notes that we're going to focus on. And as you can see, the first note that we have here for you is the 1928 series $5 Federal Reserve note. Now, the focus of the talk track for this particular video is going to revolve around the earliest date of notes, which is the 1928 series. Now, the 1928 does not designate the year that it was produced, but it was a series in which this particular note was released in circulation. These were produced as early as 26-27, and they go all the way up till the mid-30s. So they made a lot of these. There were millions upon millions of 1928 series notes produced. So how can you tell them apart? Well, it's real simple. As you can see from my sample image here of this $5 FRN, you're going to notice the red arrows. Okay, the first set of red arrows reading from left to right, you see this district number right here. This particular one has 11. All right, so the number 11 is your district. If it looks different, then it probably is, because on today's notes they use a letter designator. For example, the letter K would designate the Dallas branch or the district. So back in 1928, and it's a one-year type only, they used the numerals to designate the district on those seals. So that's important. So that's what you'll know, that you'll have the 1928. Secondly, it's going to say series of 1928. That's the next set of arrows. And third, you're going to have nice dark evergreen type ink for the serial numbers and the seal behind the 5 protector on the front of the note. So those are going to be all your key components. Now let's talk about value. If you were to find a $5 bill that's, seeing quite a bit of usage, all is not lost. It's a note that you could easily turn around and sell in that $20 to $30 range. Okay, as long as it's a common type note, common district and everything else, and it's not a star note, then that's about what you would expect to get or receive back if you were to sell it on the secondary market. Now, uncirculated examples in a non-star note fashion sell upwards of over $1,000. So if you have something that's graded 65, 66, or 67, through one of the banknote grading services like PCGS or PMG, then you can expect that higher dollar value. All right, next we're going to be looking at this $20 FRN. Same thing, it's a 1928 series. As you can see, you can tell this one is a 1928 because it does have that numeral district number in that seal there on the left. So this is the type of note that if you were going to search and ask bank tellers if they have some older currency, the $20 is going to be your best bet as far as finding an older note. 5s and 10s usually aren't out there as much. You'll find a lot of the older 20s. And this particular design we call affectionately the small head, because if you can see the newer design notes, the head of the president on that note is tremendously a lot bigger. So the smaller sized heads on these on the tombstone, which is where you see the portrait, is going to be a lot smaller, like on this note. So yet again, price wise, if you find a 20 in used condition, you know, nothing, no great fanfare on that one, then expect a note to get about double face value if you were to sell it on the secondary market. The numeral district notes of 1928 is a popular sell in any grade, so that's why you're able to get at least double the face value back on this type of note. Now, uncirculated crisp examples of a $20 bill or even a 10, again, you're going to be looking at, you know, as high as $2,000, $3,000 depending on the grade. So the nicer the grade, the more money you get. It's real simple. And we have one more note to show you, and this is one of my favorites. It's a $50 FRN. Again, it's a 1928 series with the number for the district, the numeral. And guess what? I threw in a curveball for you guys. It is a star note. Now, these are exceptionally rare in 1928. There are a few exceptions, but even the few exceptions that are a little bit more common, like in the 5 and 20 for a star note, will typically sell for hundreds of dollars. So that's the great news. If you were to come across a note of this caliber to where it has a star note, okay, you should do as much research as you can, like post it on a forum site. There's a couple great currency forums that you could join, like on Coin Talk and PCGS. Collectors Universe are great examples of forums that you could utilize to get the expert's opinion on your note. Now, a star note of any type, again, we talked about it being worth as much as a few $100s for something that's well worn. But how about if you come across a 20 or a 50 with a star note that's in really great shape? You know, that's a type of note that you'll easily sell, bare bones, $1,000 and up. Okay, to make the icing on the cake that much more sweeter, you'll want to get it graded. Again, that makes all the difference in the world as far as getting more money for your piece of currency and for having an established auction house to accept your consignment. So I hope this little buyer's guide here for you as far as searching around older notes has been helpful. I'm glad I'm able to share with this to you today, and I want to thank you again for watching. I'm your host, Blue Ridge Silverhound. Please hit the like button on this one if you enjoy the content. Feel free to share it on social media. And I will talk to you guys soon. You guys keep searching and you keep stacking. Take care.